Welcome to Screams from the Center. In this broadcast, I hope to provide information on topics that I found interesting and give my take on them. My name is David, and welcome to my channel again. In this episode, we discuss the Keystone Pipeline. That was recently passed by the U.S. House of Representatives and about to be voted on by the U.S. Senate. This project is applauded by conservatives as profound or nearly magical way to prosperity. Now I could sit here and go over the points made by liberals and why we should not do this project, but I'm going to discuss it from the perspective of the conservative talking points. We'll discuss jobs, production, environmental impact, but I'll keep the arguments as close to the conservative side as possible. But I will warn you, these points are disputed even by the owner of the pipeline. So let's look at the numbers. Just how many jobs will Keystone bring? This one's a tough one to answer. First off, there are two ways to look at jobs. There is jobs it will bring which are not permanent, and then there are the permanent jobs after it's built. No one's really talking about the construction portion of this, so I won't go into any details about the jobs created that are temporary construction jobs. The number of jobs varies greatly, but we'll go with the popular one that conservatives tend to like. That's 42,000 jobs created. A project that's supposed to save us always is to sunshine. The high estimate is less than 50,000. Now, why do I mention 50,000? To put this into perspective, 50,000 jobs is about the same amount of jobs that we are creating per week in the United States. So, Keystone is not even worth 1 week of job growth. That's less than 10% in a quarter. Not that impressive, really, when you look at it. Now, of course, any jobs that we add to the economy is a good thing. I'm not disputing that. But the fact of the matter is, this is applauded by the conservative movement as some sort of miracle, as something that, if we don't do it, we're totally screwed, and if we do it, we're saved. So, the reality of this is, I dispute the number based on the fact that TransCanada, the foreign company who's in charge and owns the pipeline, has come out and said that there will probably be less than 100 jobs created. This is after they came under pressure by environmental groups. Now, maybe they said this in some sort of duress, although I don't see how, but their numbers say around 100 or less. So if we take the numbers from the right wing, we still don't actually make much of an impact. Now, we could add in support jobs and pull out the math from that, but the reality is the job impact is going to be minimal overall. Okay, well, this is supposed to save us from the evils of foreign oil. So let's look at the oil we get from this project. Currently in the United States, we use around 19 million barrels of oil a day. This is mostly from foreign sources, such as Saudi Arabia. Now, the goal is that we don't want to be dependent on foreign oil. And I understand that. I actually agree with that. So the matter of fact is, we do need oil. I disagree with liberals about us being able to go to cold turkey, so I know we do need oil. Keystone is promising us energy independence and free from foreign oil. But how does that stack up? Does Keystone live up to its hype? Well, sadly on this metric, we don't see it in the numbers. The Keystone Pipeline, at the high end of its production capability, is going to pump around 700,000 barrels per day. This is around 3% of our daily use. That's hardly a drop in the bucket, and certainly not anywhere close to independence that we're promised by the right wing. Now, we add the fact that Canada is a foreign country. And this is where the oil is going to be coming from. So, I don't understand how we have energy independence if we're talking about a project bringing foreign oil into the United States. Now, I could go into the fact that basically what this pipeline is designed for and what the refining is supposed to do, but we'll hold that off altogether. But as we can see from the numbers, 700,000 barrels a day, 19 million barrels a day for use. Less than 3%. It's not the magic bullet that conservatives say it is. So, this doesn't get us any closer to gainful employment or for energy independence. This is not including concerns brought up by the left wing. This is purely the numbers from the conservatives and TransCanada itself. The American population is being lied to. This is a project that will enrich a few people who want to build this pipeline to eliminate labor cost, pump the oil down to Texas refineries so that it can be exported after it's been refined. The jobs created, even on the high end, don't cancel out jobs that are going to be lost in other sectors. Currently, this oil is being transported by rail and by truck. So, all of those contracts would be gone. How many truck drivers and rail operators and support members are going to go out of business because of that? The pipeline sole purpose is to reduce the manpower needed to transport a product. That is what a pipeline is for. It is to get goods from one area to another. So we can see the motivation to build the pipeline. It's money. It's not energy independence. It's not jobs. It's to save labor and transportation costs and make even more money. Plus, one of the things that is not mentioned very often is this is a 1,900-mile pipeline that goes from Canada to Mexico. It's a 1,900-mile target for terrorists. The type of oil that is being transported is a heavy, thick mush, meaning if there's a leak in a water area, that oil sinks to the bottom. It makes it nearly impossible to clean up. It's an environmental disaster waiting to happen. Even conservatives know that oil spills are dangerous. So we're left with, is Keystone a good idea for America? A good idea for the American people? I think Keystone is a bad idea, no matter if you're coming from the right or left. It's just plain and simple. The information is out there for you. Department of Energy, TransCanada. There's lots of sources that you can go to. I encourage you to go and check it out for yourself. I am not against oil drilling or oil use. I do think we need to phase that out for renewable sources, simply because that would get us to energy independence. But I do believe in a slow, phased integration into new renewables. So that's it for this episode. I hope you got a bit of information and enjoyed it. Subscribe to me and I'll get more out as fast as I can. And thank you for joining me.